Swatika.
Swatika. Welcome, Freedom Casters. Jordan and Miranda here. We are here in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Yes, we are in our lovely Airbnb.
It's lovely.
It's
We actually
small.
really like it. It's very small.
It's small, but we like it.
It's everything we expected it to be. It's just very small. There's a bed and then there's a bathroom back there. It's pretty much basic.
It is basic. It's attached to a cafe, which is pretty awesome. We get a discount on all the food out there.
Pretty cheap and pretty amazing food too.
It's really good, and it's a perfect place to work. So, I mean, we're set pretty much.
And while we're doing this podcast, I got some sticky rice and I'm going to be eating it.
Mango sticky
Miranda
rice.
said we had to do the podcast when we got back, and I was like, but I want some sticky rice now. So we figured it'd be, you can hear me enjoying this delicious sticky rice and be jealous.
It was pretty awesome because they peeled the sticky rice. I mean, not the sticky.
They peeled the mango.
The mango right in front of us. It's so fresh. It's amazing. This is gonna end poorly.
And this whole thing's gonna end poorly. You go ahead and intro this, and then I'll.
I'm nervous. I'm too nervous. So we got here about 3 days ago, and we have been absolutely loving it so far. Mostly all we've done so far is eat. That's pretty accurate, right?
There's been a lot of eating, yeah.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work too.
Yeah, but mostly eating, and it's amazing because there's so many places you can go. Within 3 blocks of here, there's probably 100 coffee shops, 100 food carts. It's just amazing.
It's actually, oops, I dropped my spoon. It's crazy how many coffee shops and all that stuff there is. Like there's been a new one. Like we've walked a different direction. Have we walked every direction? I don't even know.
I think we haven't. I think we've gone 3 different directions.
It's like every other building is a place to eat, coffee shop, massage parlor.
Yeah, elephant farms.
Yep. We haven't seen the elephant farms yet. We've seen signs.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So we just wanted to have this episode be about our initial reactions to Thailand in general, our traveling over here, that whole process, and
Yep.
why we're here, I think, is also kind of an important thing to cover. So, initial reaction for me, I love it. How do you feel?
I love it too. I am all about this kind of food. I mean, I like
This kind of food, it's all about the food. We're just going to keep going back to the food.
I like rice and anything anyway. I like pad thai. I like some spicy things. If you've been paying attention to Miranda's story, you'll see that I bit off more than I could chew when this one guy asked me if I wanted it spicy, and I said yeah, and I think I said yes like a little bit too excitedly. And he was like, oh, okay. He put like these random peppers in there and all this other stuff. Like I don't even know what all was in there, but I was chewing down on some peppers, and it was great. It was lighting me on fire. It was burning my face off.
It was pretty amazing. So
You want a bite of this?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want a bite of this? No, you do. Actually.
You have to take over a second, though.
Oh. Well, don't take it too long. I want it back. You can see it's all about the food. Yeah, the trip over here was crazy. I had a cold, so I'm going to be blowing my nose probably a little bit.
I lost a mango.
You dropped a mango.
Mango down.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so excuse me if I have any issues with blowing my nose. I am getting over it, and I'm actually feeling a lot better already, probably because it's so nice and warm over here. Like the sun's out. I feel like my skin is I feel like my body is just feeling so much better just being over here and maybe having a little sunshine. Me and Miranda we are not winter people. We just are not. I mean, we just do not function as well when there's not sun. That's why I moved down to North Carolina.
This is very true.
We just struggle with that. But
so far, this is crazy. We're moving, we're eating, this is how it's going to be for a little bit.
It's how it's going to be. Yeah, the podcast, it's going to be professional. You know, we're going to do the best we can to share our ideas with you. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit interesting.
So we added up the hours that we were either on a plane or in an airport before we got here, and it was 41 hours.
Yep.
So we flew from Charlotte to New York, then New York to Beijing, and then Beijing to Chiang Mai. And we had a 12-hour layover in Beijing. We had some, a little bit of a layover in New York, so it was just a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a challenge to get here, but we made it, and it was definitely worth it. But we are, so far I think the biggest challenge for us has been to balance that that work and play because there's so much to see. We want to see it all. We want to see it all right away. But
I just want to walk around and eat all the different foods. And
I know. I mean, you could just spend a whole day just eating, walking, eating, eat a little, walk a little. But just being able to say, okay, we need to work a little bit. We need to get some work done.
That's had to be me a little bit more on this trip.
Yeah. So, for example, like, okay, we'll do the podcast, but I'm going to get some mango sticky rice first. So,
yeah.
It's just been...
It is so good. And by the way, this mango sticky rice was cheaper than the mango sticky rice I had last night. This was 40 baht, which might sound like a lot, but it's not, because 32 baht equals $1. So this whole thing of rice and mango and just deliciousness was just a little bit more than $1.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. That's why you could also just eat all day, because where we went today for lunch, I got chicken pad thai, and it was a full meal for $2.
Yep.
And like a specialty drink for $1. It's just amazing how much just the food is. It's so cheap. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out, like, is it actually cheaper for us over here than it would be? Because you always have to think there's always going to be, and this is a good thing to talk about too. Even if a place has cheaper food, there's always going to be those extra things that you need. Like, we have to go out and get water. We don't want to drink the water here. There were some things we couldn't carry on the plane that we had to go out and get, like razors for both of us, and we had to get some bug spray. And there was just random things maybe we could have brought with us that we didn't really think about. But then you always have to think there's always going to be things that you're going to forget. And Miranda and I packed light. We're going to be talking in a future episode, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe we weren't going to touch on it in this one, right?
What?
How to pack light.
Yeah, we were going to save that for later.
We'll save that for later, but it was cool because Miranda is a super awesome organizational guru, and she worked it so we just have a backpack each, and we're going to be here.
My purse.
And Miranda's purse and my vest, but we were able to fit everything that we've needed so far. We don't have a lot of backup stuff. If something goes wrong with one of the computers, then it's like, well, what do we do? But
That's true.
I guess that's just life in general. You can't plan for everything. There's always going to be things that come up, and that's part of the reason why I think we were going on this trip. I think a lot of people probably didn't really understand why, because we weren't necessarily very good at explaining why, and maybe it's because we don't really know why. I just think and I'm rambling here, but I think, and you can stop me if you want, but I think it is.
Please stop.
It is. I think people are wondering that, like, oh, you went to Thailand, like, that's super cool. But why? I mean, I think maybe the better question, and we think maybe the better question is why not. But then it's also good to have a reason to go. So what would you say?
I think it's confusing because there's a lot of different pieces to it. So because we're not just visiting, it's easy if you're just going to visit. Like, I want to go see the world, I want to visit. But we're going for a long time, 2 months, and we're also working while we travel. So it's just a different mindset. It's not just like we want to go and see everything. We do want to really just absorb as much culture as we can while we're here, but we also need to continue working to make this possible so that we can do this. And part of it was to see, can we work and travel at the same time and enjoy it, and still produce good work at the same time. And I think that's kind of, I called it our digital nomad trial run, just to see if we can do this.
Nice, I like that.
So that, I think, is the biggest thing. We're just trying to see if this is possible for us. And so far, I feel like we're doing a pretty okay job. It is challenging to work when I just want to go explore every day and see a different thing, and it's hard to focus for sure. But
because you have to factor that all in. You also have to factor in the fact that, like, it took us like 2 days to get over here, and there's always like exhaustion that comes with that, and then that's also like extra time that you spend sleeping and all of that stuff. Like, all that stuff, you have to factor that in if you're going to be able to make it work.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it is cool though to be, we're sitting out here at our cafe yesterday, and we're just sitting at the table working for a few hours, and in a way, that's a really great way to kind of absorb the culture too, just people watching. And we are in a pretty touristy area, so we do see a lot. Majority of people are tourists, I would say, that we see. But
yeah, it definitely seems very, very much so.
Yeah. But it's just cool to be able to just sit there and kind of take it slower too, because in some ways we are a lot slower, I think, than other people. We're not, when we go traveling, we're not like, okay, we got to do everything today. We're definitely more slow roll, so.
Yeah, we both don't want to try to do, and I'm putting this in a bag so we don't attract any flies. We're not the type of people that want to do everything, or everything and anything that we can when we go somewhere, because I think it's worth it to just, this trip has been already just super cool because we have time.
Mm-hmm.
We have time to get our feet wet and get grounded and, you know, walk a little further every day and walk in different directions and really become acclimated to where we're at. And I think, you know, that takes time. And, you know, some people can come and go on vacation and just do things all the time, and we're just not.
Yeah, we get worn out quickly if we do that. So.
I think there's probably a lot of people that share that little gene with us too.
Mm-hmm.
That like traveling, maybe sometimes traveling and taking a week-long vacation doesn't even seem like a break because you're trying to fit everything in, and then, you know, that week passes so fast, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I got to go back to work now. And we're not, you know, we've said it for a while, we're not vacation people. I don't know if we've said that on the podcast. We've said it to each other.
What do you mean we're not vacation people? I don't know if I agree with this yet.
Oh, okay, let me finish my thought, because I think you do agree with me. I hope. We're not vacation people. Like, we don't want to take a week at a time to take a break from, like, work. We would much rather, and we're already really liking this, work while we're at a place. Like, you know, me and Miranda did work, like, while we were with my family for that week-long vacation. That's a tough balance to strike, but we'd rather have the flexibility to be able to do work wherever we want, and not just have to take maybe 2 vacations a year. That's all I'm trying to say.
I gotcha. So instead
You feel me?
Instead of just working all year for those 2 weeks of vacation, to kind of mix it together where you're working and you're vacationing at the same time all year.
So you're experiencing life and doing things, you know, maybe most of the year, 52 weeks out of the year, it's 52 out of 52, instead of just 2 and then, you know, feeling kind of so burnt out you need to take vacation. I just don't know if that, I know that's like more of like the model, especially the American model, is to work as much as you possibly can and then, you know, barely take any vacation. And some people don't even take vacations. And
some people have vacation they don't use.
Yeah, and I think work is great, and we're called to do work. I think, you know, we're called to do a good work. I don't think anyone out there would say, like, we're supposed to be lazy and do nothing.
Relax all the time.
It's about doing, like, the right kind of work that fulfills you, and I think that's just key. And if you can do the right kind of work that fulfills you and be able to travel to a place like Thailand for months at a time, like, that is just, at least to us, that's what we're shooting for. And like Miranda said, this is a trial run for a place. We don't know whether we're going to like this long term. I mean, I love North Carolina. I love where we live in Huntersville. But I think one of the first things I was telling Miranda is that there's only so much new that can kind of spark, I guess, my creative side and my writer's brain.
Inspiration.
Yeah, like in wow. In Huntersville, North Carolina, I'm like walking the same paths and I'm going to the same places. Like, there's not that much variety, especially when I'm limited to just walking around. But here, I feel like I could go to a different place for lunch every day for like a year. I feel like years, which is crazy.
But that's also the whole city vibe, because we get kind of worn out from cities too, though. So it's a fine balance, trying to figure out the best formula for you.
But I think, just to answer a question real quick, how do you figure out what's best for you? Simple, right? You try it and see if it works, and then, you know, you do a trial run, and, you know, maybe it doesn't work, maybe it's not going to work for us, and we're going to go back and we'll figure out something else and we'll try something else. I think that's one thing that I recommend anyone, is just trying different things and taking action. Don't just talk about it. I mean, because just talking about it's not going to do anything, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's a good place to start.
It's a great place to start, I think.
Yeah.
With goals and stuff, but, you know, at the end of the day, you have to realize that, you know, you got to take some action, right?
Oh yeah.
Was that harsh?
No.
Okay, good.
I was just saying.
It's true. It's a true reality, right?
Yeah. So it has been very cool. What is your favorite part so far?
Well, I feel like I was gonna say mango sticky rice, but it's probably just because I just ate it. We've been to like 3 or 4 different coffee shops already. I don't know. I love the coffee, but I just love the idea of being able to have an adventure simultaneously with working and feeling like you're contributing, but also getting and experiencing too. I think there's just there's a cool middle ground. I think that we're trying to strike on. That is just not. It's not what the norm is. It's not what we have been grown up to do. And I think it's scary to strike out a new thing, but I think there's so much good out of it too that I've already seen. And I'm very proud of Miranda because she's basically just jumping into this full-time entrepreneurship stuff, like, you know, going to Thailand and jumping into it, like
all at once.
That's pretty big.
A few weeks ago, I had a traditional job, so.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, right? You were working.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy to be jumping into this, and I got the awesome opportunity of working with TeamUp right at the perfect time of leaving Metrolina. So it's been like quite the shift from a traditional job where everything is so regulated. If you're 30 seconds late, you get a point. If you get 13 points, you get fired, you know. And now it's just all up to me, and it's just such a shift. It's crazy.
Yeah, you have full creative freedom and full control, and yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
But it is hard to be disciplined.
Especially when you're in a place like Chiang Mai. It's like, what? How am I supposed to work?
You just want to play all day. Yeah. It's tough to. But again, that's where you do the work that you love, and.
Yeah, and that's the really cool part with the podcast and everything. Things we really love doing. We look forward to this stuff, and it's stuff that we feel makes a difference. And that's where it really is even more powerful to be able to travel and work and do everything all at once in one giant glob of life. So
I love that. One giant glob of life. I feel like that should be our, I don't know, book title. I mean, that should be something epic.
One giant.
What is your favorite part, Miranda?
Well,
besides the giant glob of life.
I don't know. It's so hard to say.
You can recount
I think
if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Later.
If I'm allowed to change my mind.
You're allowed to. Yeah.
But so far, what has really struck me about Chiang Mai is just what we kind of talked about before, just how everything here seems to change so quickly. They have all these street food vendors, and they have all these little pop-up shops where they sell the baggy elephant pants and handmade goods, and you can walk down a street at 9 in the morning and it looks one way, and then you walk down that street 10 minutes later and there's just different vendors there. It's like it's constantly changing, and it's really cool. Just that it keeps you on your toes, because like, oh, that like mango sticky rice cart was over there 15 minutes ago. So
yeah,
it's really neat to see that, and just the busyness of everything, and not just busy as in like a lot of people, but the streets and the sidewalks you can hardly fit one person on the sidewalk because they have bikes parked on them, they have all the carts, they have like everything catches your eye. Everything. You walk down the street,
I get very distracted while we're walking.
And you're just like, it's hard not to stop and look at everything you see. And
it's so cool because it's so like, it's so new and different, and it's just like, I don't know, I think to have your senses like stretched is pretty amazing, and that's what we've been kind of doing, you know?
Yeah, it's just
over the past couple
really
years,
neat.
But yeah, this is just totally different.
And it really has been, I was telling Jordan this earlier, kind of easy for us because a lot of people do speak English, so it's not like we were dropped into like a completely different culture. We can go buy bagels if we want to. We can get
which we did.
We can get Burger King and Starbucks, and there's all those things, those creature comforts. But then there's also, you know, you can just dive into like Thai culture too and immerse yourself completely. So, and all the languages we've heard too, just the people that visit here, so eclectic. It's just really cool. Just the amount of, just so much to put. Like, I was just people watching today when we got coffee this morning, and it's just amazing. I just love that. That makes it hard to work too, because I just want to watch people. So.
Were you people watching or spacing out? Because it looked
people watching.
It looked like a mix when I looked at you a couple times. It was just like this, like.
At the they
You were watching the
have
people
this
pick up the pigeons.
ancient gate called the Tai Pai Gate, and yeah, there's all these people that there's something about people and pigeons, and they just go and they feed the pigeons and they get the pigeons to jump on them and they take pictures and everybody's so happy about this and it just freaks me out. So
yeah, I'm all about
watching it.
Yeah, I'm all about getting immersed in the culture. But Miranda and I have agreed that we're not going to be picking up and holding any pigeons.
We don't want influenza.
I don't know. Pigeons are gross, right?
That's where I was just like, how do those things start? How do people and it's just that one spot where everyone's just like, that's the pigeon spot. How do those things start?
And everyone is in that like giant square. I don't even know what they're doing. They're just there.
They're there.
There was live music the other night. There was a magician, I think, the night before, which was kind of cool. We should try to find when there's like a magician or something.
That'd be pretty cool.
We should try to find like a theater or something.
That'd be awesome.
Chiang Mai theater. Probably would be in English.
There's so much we have to see yet. That's why I'm so glad. I can't imagine only visiting for a week or something because we've already been here 3 days and we've hardly even scratched the surface. We have so much more to see. So I'm so glad we're here for 2 months to get a chance to just see even more.
Yeah.
You know? It's so exciting.
Did you say what your favorite part is? Or
yeah,
that was all that? Okay.
That 20-minute response was my favorite part. But I just love traveling with you too. I think it's a lot of fun. Even the plane ride, although it was so long and really crazy, it's just fun to travel and know you're embarking on an adventure. And we love change, so it was just exciting and yeah.
Even the lead up time was. I mean, I think that was probably one of your favorite parts. The lead up time and organizing and planning a trip.
Yeah, because I like that
you
stuff.
really you love that. You love that stuff. But getting everything ready and making sure you have everything and
the master to-do list and prioritizing it every day and then delineating the tasks between us.
But then
I love that stuff.
Yeah, but there's absolute power in having like a project and having something that you're working towards. I'm pretty sure we've said that on the podcast before, but I mean that has been one thing that has helped me and you so much, especially over the last couple of years. But I mean, for me, having a book project to write or having any type of project that you're working towards beyond just maybe your everyday, like bigger, more than just like, well, I'm going to go to work, or for me, like, I'm just going to write some today or whatever. I think having like an actual like project that's like concrete that, has a brainstorming period and has like an end date, so you're going to finish that. You're going to work towards something. Like, we're going to go on this trip. And then we're going to be there, and then we're going to be doing that. But having something that with a clear like end date is huge for motivation. I think that's one of the, at least for me, when I'm trying to get something done and work on stuff, if I have like a project that I know that I need to dedicate time to, it helps me with everything else, because then I'm like, I was telling you that today, like, oh, I need to go through my emails so that I then can have all of what I need to have done, so that then I can work on my project. And that's so much more motivating than, well, I just have a bunch of emails and I have a bunch of like client work to do. It's so much better to have, okay, work on that, and that's great. I really love doing that stuff, but then there's something beyond that. There's a project beyond that has maybe a beginning and end date, because emails don't. You're always going to have them, and that's where it can be hard to jump into them. Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know if you were still going on your roll there. No, but it's exactly what you're saying, because for this trip we had on my like to-do list, it said to do by January 14th, which is when we left, and that just having that date, like, oh, we have to have all this done by this time. Like, add a date to whatever you want to do, and you'll finish it by your date. It's just how it works.
That is how it works, yeah.
So if you give yourself 3 months to, get your oil changed, you'll do it. If you give yourself 2 days, you'll do it. It's just funny.
Yeah.
I picked oil change because I hate car stuff.
Well, I hate car stuff too.
That's my second favorite part, is that we don't have to drive for the next 2 months, so we'll just take tuk-tuk if we need to.
We haven't taken a tuk-tuk yet because we haven't really gone
but
super far.
But we love walking. I just feel like you can get so much more just by walking, and I love it.
Yeah, and we're like, we want exercise too. We're not doing like CG, so. And I haven't seen any prices for the tuk-tuks. They look interesting, and we probably should do it just to do it, I guess, but I've heard that they're not the cheapest way to travel around.
It reminds me of when we were
I would rather just walk too. That's why we've walked everywhere so far.
In San Francisco, and we did the trolley ride, and it was just kind of like anticlimactic. It was like, okay.
It was like, I would have been fine just seeing other people do it, you know.
It wasn't, yeah.
We're not. I guess we're a different type of travelers too. We don't do things just because. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
We don't just because of like the novelty and just to say we did. You know what I mean? I think if it looks fun and it looks interesting, like great. Like I'll try that. I'll try that new food. You know, that's more of like an experience. But it's always hard to, you don't know that until you try it. You don't know if you're missing out on an experience. We could love the tuk-tuk, but I don't know. They look.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a trolley type experience.
I don't disagree with you, but that's why we work so well together.
Yeah, and we tried to find a park.
I was looking at you.
I know. It was too intense of a gaze.
Can you move my face again?
One more time.
That's like the most aggressive you've ever grabbed my face and moved it.
And unfortunately,
I should be mad about it, but I'm not.
The park was closed until the 31st. But we were trying to find a spot that was a little quieter because it's just so busy everywhere, and being introverts, we kind of need a calm spot. So we're still on the lookout for that because this room is just too small to be a reprieve. It's kind of, it just, you can't really do too much in this room. So
yeah, you can only work for so long before you're just like
yeah, so there are, so many more things to see. And I'm very excited.
Yep.
Anything else?
Well, I was going to ask you a question, but now I don't remember what it was. It was related to... Oh, yeah, I was going to say we should make sure to share where people can see updated pictures and where they can read about our trip. So you can read about the trip on my blog, which is jmring.com/blog, or just go to jmring.com, and then you'll see some of the new posts there. But that's jmring.com/blog. Then also,
I'm on Instagram, MirandaRing89, so that has all the Instagram stories, which I love and I have so much fun with.
And you can tell because they're very good. So if you want to see what we're up to day to day, follow Miranda on Instagram, MirandaRing89, and she could be posted with that. I am just going to be writing more about her trip and kind of sharing some tips we're learning along the way. Miranda's going to be doing a guest blog for me. Oh, it's going to be sweet. Looking forward to that.
If I ever finish writing it.
You will. There's going to be pictures in those blogs too, so you can see those. Most of the pictures are probably going to be on Instagram. I uploaded just a little grouping of pictures to Facebook with the blog, which we'll probably do periodically. But yeah, if you want to follow along, see how we're doing, you can follow us on there. And also, we'll be talking about it pretty consistently in these upcoming podcasts. Now, we're not going to just spend every episode just giving you a rundown of what we did. We want this to be about you guys. So we're going to try to be, as much as we can, give you some tips on what we're learning with travel. But I mean, I think the number one biggest thing we're learning right now is how good it is just to have change and to spark new ideas and to do different things. And we read that stuff all the time, but then actually going out and doing it and experiencing a new country and a new place is just, it's riveting, and it makes you feel like you're alive.
And it's like I said too, it's easier than you think it is. Like, you just need to get a ticket and go. I mean, there's obviously a lot more you have to do, but just in essence, and especially in America, if you speak English, you have a step up everywhere you go. If people speak a second language, like, it's probably going to be English. So it really helps you out a lot. And, when you are in America too, like, the dollar compared to other currency, typically pretty good. So it's just, I don't know, it's kind of surprised me how, I don't know, because I already feel in a way kind of home here.
Yeah.
And, like, in a way I would have felt at home if we just moved somewhere different for 2 months in America. And it's just cool that it doesn't feel completely overwhelming, I guess.
Home is where your heart is, right?
Yep.
Is that what they were trying to push in Thor Ragnarok? Maybe I didn't realize that, but they were really trying to push, like, Asgard is not a people, or it's not a place, it's a people.
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to be deeper with that. Like, hey, it doesn't matter where you are as long as you're around the people you love.
It's still very sad because the whole movie was about them escaping, and then Infinity War happened anyway, so.
Yeah. That was tough. We think half of them escaped, though. Escaped. caped.
Which we did watch the SpiderMan Far From Home
Trailer. It's up.
yesterday.
You should go watch that. Man, that was good.
Which I just think it's interesting that they don't even address, like, oh, Spider-Man got dusted. And, like, no, he's going to Europe with his friends.
No, but we knew he was going to come back because this movie was already scheduled before Infinity War even came out. So Peter Parker was dusted. When Spider-Man was dusted, you knew he was coming back. I mean, they dusted Doctor Strange and Black Panther. They dusted like all the people that are coming back. So it was like an opposite. All the people that probably aren't coming back are the ones that like didn't go.
Yeah.
So you knew they're coming back. I was going to ask you something else, but
was it about Marvel or
no
Chiang Mai?
That was about what we were talking about. So, do you want to talk any more about Marvel, or can I skip?
You can. Yeah, that was just a side note.
This is just more about, I think, fears, and I wanted to talk about fears for a little bit, and then we'll finish up this podcast. But Miranda and I were talking about this earlier, and I think this is just a huge realization when we're here. I think there's so much fear in going to a new place, and I think it's exactly what Miranda was saying. It's a little easy. It's easier than you think because you work up these fears in your mind. Mm-hmm. You work it up that it's going to be somehow worse than where you are at home. Like, well, you could get sick, and we very well could get sick. We could get sick tomorrow, but like, you could get sick tomorrow, like in America. Like, how many people get food poisoning? Like, how many people are like?
We'll definitely get sick if we play with the pigeons.
Yeah, well, I'm not playing with pigeons. That's when we can be smart too. We can have appropriate fears, and you have to be careful. But I think we live in this false sense of security in America. I think sometimes we think that everywhere else is like a scary place, and I feel that way. Like, they are scary places. Even just being in a city is like is scary in some ways. But then what are we really afraid of? Like, what are our fears there? And I think, I just think that experiencing more new stuff just kind of lightens those fears. It doesn't make them seem as much reality,
Exactly, yeah. And it's, I feel very safe here already. The people are just absolutely the sweetest people. So it's like, I feel safer here than I would in New York City, for sure. And
I mean, yeah. I honestly, yeah.
But it is that when you're home and it's like the devil kind of, that phrase.
Yeah.
So when you're home, you feel like educated on everything, and then when you go away, it's like, well, anything could happen. I don't know what's going on in Thailand. So it is interesting, and I think it's good to face those fears and just do it,
And I think just going into it knowing that it may not work out. Like, this may not be our favorite place, or something might happen. But I mean, I think it's just having that the true sense that anything could happen anywhere, and as long as you're smart about it, like what are we really like afraid of? And I think it's just conquering those fears that's been really cool for us. Like, we can be in a city for a little bit. I think maybe we wouldn't like to live in a city, but I don't know. Maybe we would.
It's hard to say because we love being able to walk everywhere, and we love the accessibility of all the places, all the coffee shops, and it's awesome. But then at the same time, we like our space. Like, we like to have some room and to feel kind of hidden away, So it is it's that hard thing. But we're also homebodies too, so that's been challenged big time.
Homebody travelers. That's like.
We are, because we do when we're home. Just cuddling up on the couch watching a Marvel movie. That's like our comfort zone.
That's like the Zen comfort zone.
Zen, yes. With a cup of tea.
Which I think.
With my heated blanket my mom got me for Christmas.
I think it's important to know that about yourself too, and that's okay. I think it's okay that we know that we are kind of like that, but then I think the danger is staying there. The danger is staying wherever your comfort zone is.
Yeah, because where are you going to get the major life experiences that change you on your trip to Thailand or when you're home watching the movie you've seen 3 times? So.
Yeah, because you're either growing up or you're going down. That's what I think. I talked a lot about that in my book. Mm-hmm. We don't really need to jump into that right now, but I just thought of it when you were saying that. Like, Are you seeking growth, and are you growing upwards, or are you, trying to stay at your comfort level, which just means you're going down? Honestly, there's no middle ground. There's no place where you're staying even. You're either trying to grow and trying to become a better person, or you're going to be going downward. It just is what it is. That's what I think.
Yeah, and that goes back to having a goal and having something you're working towards that automatically has you heading up because you're working towards something. So that's why it's so important. And it was cool.
Having a project, man, it's like one of the biggest like cure-alls.
It was cool also on our plane ride. We did our top 10 goals each for 2019, which was definitely, even if you're not a resolution person, a new year is a great time to make goals anyway, because there is mentally having a new start helps. That's why people go to the gym on Mondays and Tuesdays and then nobody's there by Friday. That's why everyone starts going in January and then, by December they're gone. It's just that fresh start automatically
by like March
hits
they're
your brain.
gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So it is a good time to make goals and to try to, fresh start, new year, new you. You can do it.
Yeah, but then really keep with it too. I know it's easier said than done, but don't let the circumstances and the pain and the potential downsides in the moment keep you from that long-term goal, because I think that's where I've failed before. I think that's where a lot of us fail, is that we things start to happen. Maybe you start working out and you get sick, or maybe you miss a week because you're sick, because you're not feeling good, or you just weren't able, maybe you had to work overtime at your job and you weren't able to go. I think it's important just to realize that it's never, you didn't blow it by missing a week. You didn't blow it by getting sick. It's just you have to deal with those things. Life is going to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, just do the best you can not to stay down.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up. What do you think?
I think that's a great place to wrap it up, because, we recognize that life is hard, and, not everything is easy, for sure. Well, that's the same way of saying not everything is hard. So, yeah, you got it. You can do it. I'll wrap it up. I was trying to go on with a different point, but it didn't really work.
That's all right. That's all right. But
I appreciate you.
That's where we're at so far, and we look forward to continuing our Thailand series for the podcast.
Yep. Stay tuned with the podcast. You can listen on jmring.com/podcast. And if you want to read about my blogs, you can go to the blog on there, or you can follow Miranda on Instagram, on the Insta, at Miranda Ring, at Miranda Ring 89. And that's where you can follow along. Let us know what you think of these podcasts. We definitely love to hear from you. But otherwise, stay frosty over there in wherever you are in America, or if you're listening to us from abroad as well. Stay warm, stay toasty, stay frosty, whatever the temperature is, whatever you want it to be, stay that.
Exactly.